good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because who knows what time it is or what day it is. Welcome to the Salem Scoop. What is the Salem Scoop, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The Salem Scoop exists to report on the great things that God is doing in and through families and communities during the COVID-19 global pandemic. So we will have various episodes that will highlight all of those great things. So let's move on now to our first story. First and foremost, we want to thank and recognize all of our essential workers that are part of Salem's congregation and even in our community. We are just so grateful for all of those in the medical field, in the service industry, and public safety. Thank you so much for keeping us healthy, for keeping us safe, and for keeping us resourced. I just want to let you know that Salem prays regularly for you and will continue to do so. We go now to an interview that we had with one of Salem's essential workers. All right, we have Salem's own Lydia Meyer with me today to share what she's observing as a dispatcher at a large local hospital here in the Twin Cities. Lydia, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So good to see you. Please tell me a little bit about your role at the hospital and what you're seeing there on the front lines.
So I'm a security dispatcher at the hospital, and we field all the emergency calls, 911 calls within the hospital, everything from maintenance to 911 to medical emergencies. We see it all. The security, the officers are in the front lines, literally, risking their lives getting sick. They do that on a daily basis anyway without this virus. But the housekeepers and everybody that makes the maintenance guys that make the hospital go round, I mean, it's a big job, and I'm proud to work with such a great team. So,
well, I just
love my
have
job.
to say that the hospital is really lucky to have you, especially during this time when everything seems so tense and unpeaceful. To have your just bubbly, smiley voice on the other end of that line, I'm sure is really appreciated by a lot of people. So, Lydia, you've shared with me the encouragement and care that the hospital staff and yourself are receiving from the public. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have fielded so many calls of just regular citizens wanting to support our staff. They appreciate us being on the front lines in the healthcare. And so one day I fielded a call from a woman. She's like, told me her name and said, I'm a retired citizen and I want to drop off bagels and cream cheese and, coffee for all of your staff, or not all the staff, but, on the weekends, it's usually like the emergency department and the security team there that's making, working long hours. And so she dropped that off. We also had a local restaurant drop off like 300 burritos for our staff, and keeping them well fed. They barely have time to grab a quick bite or have a cup of coffee. You got to really plan. Our cafeteria is sort of semi shut down. I mean, it still is offering stuff, but not the hot food options. And so it's nice that the community is taking care of us. I mean, it's just amazing. A local place delivered a bunch of pizzas last night. I heard from some coworkers. I was like bummed that I wasn't there. No, I'm just kidding. We've had some major blessings. When I was walking out of work the other night, I was walking to my car, and it had been kind of a discouraging day overall. At work and just otherwise, one of those days. And I walked out to my car, and somebody had taken the time to do this chalk art. Like, we're in this together. Like, I'm bad at art, but we appreciate all you're doing. Minnesota Strong, it said, and they had taken the time, and it was right in an area where it's just kind of been sad. And so it made me smile. And so somebody taking that little effort to do something kind or just share a kind note really makes a big difference.
That's awesome.
And encouragement.
And I think you give us some ideas too on how we can be blessing the people in, kind of our communities and our neighborhoods that are continuing to work and keep us healthy and safe and different things. So
yeah, it doesn't take much.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's really appreciated. So
yeah, oh, for sure.
Let's do it, Salem.
Big time.
Yeah. So one other thing too, especially during this time, Salem hopes to meet, the spiritual needs of its congregation and community, but also practical needs as well. Could you just share with us your recent experience with Salem meeting a practical need in your family?
Yeah, so my mom and dad recently started attending Salem, and my dad, the only time he really gets out is to go to dialysis 3 times a week.
Okay.
His mobility is not amazing; he's got a walker and a cane. But I just was thinking, on some of these nicer days, we could, um, if he could have a wheelchair to get out to this duck pond that's not too far from there where they live, and just get some fresh air, some vitamin D, some sunlight. And
Hmm.
so I texted you, and you're like amazing. I know I'm like, if I text Shelly, it's gonna happen
No,
immediately.
that's Salem.
Well, and Salem, but yes. Anyways, so she coordinated with. I said, "Hey, do you guys have a wheelchair?" Yeah. Who needs it? I'm like, well, my dad. So David Shirley was over there the very next day delivering the wheelchair, and that just really brightened their day. We were able to meet up with them, and we kept our distance. We were
Hmm.
being safe with social distancing, but my mom was able to wheel him out, and he was able to watch my kids go around on their bikes and scooters, watch the ducks, get some fresh air. It was beautiful out. So that made a big difference, and I think
Hmm.
that really brightened his day. So thank you, Salem. Amazing. I'm here if anybody needs anything. I am like on the edge of my seat. Where can I go? Somebody needs something, groceries dropped off or something. So I am like so excited to
Yes.
do that.
All right. Thank you, Lydia. Take care.
Thank you, Shelly.
Welcome back to our sports edition of the Salem Scoop. Today I have special guest 6K Katie here to tell us all about the Global 6K scheduled for Saturday, May 16th. Welcome, Katie. Could you tell us what the Global 6K is?
The Global 6K is a fundraiser organized by World Vision and facilitated by host sites all over the world. Each participant's registration fee provides clean water for life to a child on the race bib.
I hear a lot about 5Ks, but why a 6K?
The distance matches the 6 kilometers that women and children have to walk every day just to fetch water.
And why is this a problem?
First of all, it's a problem because the water they are fetching is contaminated and often makes them sick. Secondly, children should be able to live like I do, going to school, to church, playing with friends, and simply being kids.
I couldn't agree more. 6K Katie, what encouragement can you give us?
Just that your participation matters. You signing up for the Global 6K means one person's life will be changed forever. They'll be healthier, they'll have the opportunity to go to school, and to live in their God-given potential.
You are right. Thank you for that encouragement and that inspiration. If you would like to join Salem's Global 6K team, you can access the registration link on Salem's website and also our Facebook page. And you can join our growing team of 120 plus members already. Despite social distancing requirements, Salem is finding ways to serve others during this quarantine time. Salem's sewing ministry members and other Salemites are actively producing cloth masks that they are able to donate to hospitals and nursing homes, friends and family and community members. Not to be outdone, Salem's knitting ministry is also working on some pandemic projects. They are sewing blankets for Jack's Baskets and Bundles of Love, and even World Vision's Knit for Kids. Thank you so much for serving in the ways that you can right now. And as we wrap up this first edition of the Salem Scoop, I would just like to say, on behalf of Salem pastors and staff, thank you for your grace and your patience and your flexibility as we figure out how to stay connected with you and providing encouragement and hope during this time. Along those lines, I'd just like to share with you a word of encouragement from Hebrews 10, verses 24 and 25. It says, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. Let us not give up meeting together, even during quarantine, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Be blessed.